between the visiting Tigers from Fremont High School and your Kearney Bearcats. I'm Mitchell Brandt, and alongside me tonight is Alex Hammocky. We are glad you chose to spend your evening with us. Bearcats are 1-0 this season after last week's win over Lincoln East. Fremont comes in this game 0-0. Excuse me, we bumped a button there. Anyway, Bearcats are 1-0 this season after last week's win over Lincoln East. Fremont comes into this game 0-2 with a 28-21 loss to Columbus in Week 0 and a loss last week to Papillion La Vista South 35-19. However, don't let their record deceive you because Fremont has played very well in both of those games, and we're even up at halftime against Papillion La Vista South. With that being said, we're going to take one more quick break, and we'll be back in just a sec for our pregame before tonight's game. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
There's no place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Welcome you back into the Bearcat Sports Network once again after that quick break. Once again, my name is Mitchell Brandt. Alongside me tonight is Alex Hammocky, and we will dive into the stats before tonight's game. Looking at Kearney tonight, their last game against Lincoln East was a one-score game the entire time. However, that did not mean they played bad. They were a little bit shaken, a little bit nervous kind of heading into the first game, as you would be. But their defense really shined in their last one. They held the game again to a one-score game the entire time. Weren't able to ice the game too much late at the end. But they held Malachi Coleman to a total of 61 total receiving yards, plus 4 receptions. So that right there is an accomplishment in on its own. Nine different Bearcats were able to recorded an offensive stat. Some of the main ones were Xander Ruling had 32 yards receiving, plus a touchdown. Jack Dahlgren 31 yards receiving, plus Hudson Bertrand 21 yards receiving. All three players, two of those seniors, Jack Dahlgren and Hudson Bertrand, all three of those players very crucial, especially tonight when you're going to see Fremont play a tight defense, kind of not moving far off the line for any of their defensive players. But that's where those receivers are going to come in strong and be able going to have to get past their corner, get past the safeties, in order to give the quarterback Beckman time to be able to get the ball off, and that is going to be crucial to tonight's game, assuming that they will be able to work past the defense, be successful on offense. Now Beckman did struggle just a little bit in the season opener. Was a little bit rattled. You can tell some of their beginning drives. They were in Lincoln East territory. However, they were still not quite. They were a little rattled. Beckman had a turnover, 1 or 2 interceptions, kind of just on their end at the beginning of the game. Still getting used to everything. Still getting caught up with receivers. First game of the year, you really understand that. But then again, we're getting into game 2. Stuff like that's got to be out of your system and ready to go.
And especially here, Mitchell, you look at how Kearney this year can play to the strengths of Fremont. Fremont's very much a first-half team, it seems like. Looking at the Papio South game, looking at the Columbus contest, it's their first road contest of the year too, and it's not just a quick drive for Fremont. It's one of their furthest drives all year because they'll head to Norfolk later on in the year. They'll head to Grand Island, so a bit of the same, and then they'll be at Omaha North. But again, I mean, you've got a lot of driving, a lot of travel time that works into Kearney's favor, and the fact that this is a first-half team, Kearney's playing tonight, a lot of positives going the Bearcats' way even before kickoff.
Yeah, and it's certainly where you're going to see Fremont is not going to have a whole lot of depth per se, which is why they have those struggles where they're a first-half team. It's been said at school. It's been said within the football team. It's been said at school. They are a lot different between their first quarter selves and their fourth quarter selves, and you're going to see that come into effect today because Kearney has a deep roster, deep enough to get them far past this game. And you're going to see that as they will be able to. Kearney will definitely outshine Fremont. Looking ahead of things, will outshine them in the second half just due to the amount of time Kearney's going to be well conditioned. They're going to have the depth to deal with this.
And especially here as well, Mitchell, you mentioned the rosters here. I think it's very safe to say that Kearney outmans Fremont by about 45, 55 almost. So when you mention, not only is this a second half team in all reality for Kearney, when you think about Fremont, you also have a lot of players that, and you can rotate in and out a lot more than Fremont does. And heck, you might have a few two-way players on this team. Usually you don't see that a lot in Class A football.
Yeah, one of the main two-way players you're going to see for Fremont is going to be their quarterback, Hudson Cunnings. He is the lifeline of this Fremont roster. He is a large part of their offense. Between the last 2 games, they're averaging just over 400 yards a game, and he's averaging himself between both passing and rushing. He's averaging himself roughly 350 yards. So he is a large chunk of that Fremont offense roster, and he may not be the player with the most average tackles so far this season, but he's there, and he's ready to make a play on defense as well.
And he's getting some good looks from schools right now. It's former Loper coach Josh Lambertson's been looking at him. Missouri Western's been looking at him alongside NAI powerhouse Morningside. Hopefully, Coach Josh Lynn is in the stands, or maybe he's down in his office. They remodeled the offices here at Cope Stadium over the summer, so now the football team's, funny enough, right below us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Coach Lynn will make his way up here to the press box for a little bit and be able to watch Cummings, because who knows, he might be in Loper Blue next year.
Yeah, and it is certainly a player that they want. He would fit their style here amazingly. He's Cunnings is the leading rusher for the Fremont Tigers, and will be an amazing addition if he were to come to UNK. He would fit the style of the triple option amazingly.
And hopefully, you look at that triple option, even if they move him into the defensive side of things, he'll do a really good job, I think. And, that's a defense that's really stellar. I don't know if you were able to watch any of the game last night, Mitchell. Tremendous Loper victory. Hopefully, Kearney can get the same result tonight.
Unfortunately, I was doing history homework, but regardless, I was tracking along and seeing kind of all that unfold. But
even though you weren't able to watch it, at least you were keeping tabs. That's the best. That's the best you can ask for.
That was my break, was checking up on all the college football going on everywhere. Kind of the Pitt's game, that crazy ending.
Puke 6.
Yep, all of that. I would check Twitter every once in a while in between chapters, and I would be able to see that. But again, we have a new addition to our pregame this year. Is the Dance Cats and the Cheerleaders have joined forces with the band and are currently doing their pregame show as we get things ready to go. We've got 7 minutes before kickoff here in Kearney. But again, we'll look at a couple of stats here as we go. On the defensive side of things for Kearney, both Aiden Poppy and Justin Murray had a sack apiece against Lincoln East, as well as two interceptions. One of those didn't really mean much. It was at the end of the first half. It was just a toss to the end zone, which was an easy toss. End of the half didn't mean a whole lot. However, the other one was very significant and helping Kearney make a victory, and with significant field position as well. Again, as we mentioned, Hudson Cunnings, 143.5 rush yards per game and 211 pass yards per game. So yeah, you're gonna hear his name every single time. Leading the defensive tackles for the Fremont Tigers is Richardson, and he's averaging 10 tackles a game. Fremont as a whole averages 20 points per game. But with that being said, we are going to mute our mics and let you listen in to the national anthem performed by the Kearney High Marching Band.
And now, feel free to sing along as the Kearney High School Marching Band, under the direction of Nathan LeFever and Rick Mitchell, plays our national anthem.
Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KHS Media Pro to see highlight videos, streaming info, and much more. And while you're there, also follow at Kearney Bearcats on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. There you will find streaming info, game day information, and final scores, as well as the occasional weekly statistics. With that being said, we are just about ready to go here in Kearney. Under 3 minutes left to go before we get things started.
Mitchell, let's take a look at what we got for district games tonight. Omaha West Side's at Grand Island. Norfolk's at Bellevue East. North Platte makes the trip out to Scottsbluff. Lincoln Northeast is at Lincoln North Star. And just across town, Kearney Catholic with their home opener. They take on the Hershey Panthers tonight.
As we welcome Kearney to the field, you can there's a whole lot going on district-wise. We're in the full swing of things. Week 2 of the season, and we are ready to go here in Kearney. It is whiteout themed for the student section today, and I can tell you that people have been ready to go all week for this. Finally ready to go here in Kearney for some football. I know I've been waiting for it. I know the students have been waiting for it.
And when you think about it, Mitchell, high school football is just Americana when you think about it. When it starts to get into the start of the school year, it doesn't seem like it doesn't even really feel like school yet until the first football game of the year. And it's just great to have high school football back and around, especially, albeit we've seen high school football now for about 2 weeks around the state. Finally, first home game here in Kearney.
Yeah, and it's something as well that the weather, just tonight in general, the weather is amazing out there. You couldn't, not really much for wind, you couldn't ask for a better night to play Friday night football.
Absolutely beautiful out there for that.
With that being said, we don't have much left to go. Under 2 minutes, both Fremont and Kearney High is on the field ready to go. We'll go through our starting lineups first for the Bearcats. Starting at quarterback on the offense, Traven Beckman. Number 31 at running back, Ethan Kowalik. Number 0, wide receiver, Xander Ruling. Number 10, wide receiver, Jack Dahlgren. Number 16, wide receiver, Hudson Bertrand. Number 8, wide receiver, Carter Lee. Number 58, right tackle, Eric Delgilo. Number 52, right guard, Nolan Smith. Number 78, center, Trent Busher. You're going to see him and Kenny Quinteros switch out pretty much by series. Number 55, left guard, Aiden Poppy. Number 74, left tackle, Cole Brandt. On the defensive side of things for Kearney, you'll see on the defensive end, Aiden Poppy. Nose guard, Eric Delgadio. Again, I am butchering that, and I apologize. I will get it eventually. Defensive tackle, Nolan Smith. Defensive end, Justin Murray. Linebacker, Sawyer Schilke. Linebacker, Ethan Kowalik. Strong safety, Ben Cumston. Free safety, Xander Ruling. Cornerback, Jack Dahlgren. Quarterback, Carter Lee. And weak safety, Quinn Foster. You heard plenty of those two-way players today. The clock is at 12 minutes, signaling we are ready to go for the first quarter of play here in Kearney. As Jake Crackle gets ready to kick things off for the Bearcats.
Looking in the backfield for Fremont. Caden Ray out there, trying to pick off the second number. It looks like it's Dominic Escovedo out there.
We are ready to go here as the clock has started, and we will start with Dominic taking it out of the end zone, wrapped up quickly by the Bearcats, initiated by Trevor Barrett. He quickly got down the field and got there to make the wrap-up tackle, and we are ready to go here in the first quarter of play. Fremont will start with the ball, as you saw.
Laid down the shoulder. Looked like he was trying to pop the ball out there and force a fumble early on.
Yeah, and Kearney had the people there too as well. You saw everyone flying down the field and flying to the ball, ready had that ball popped out, ready to go. But again, we will see Fremont set up here, led by quarterback Hudson Cunnings. Hudson's going to hand this one up the middle. He's going to push forward, get about 5 on the play. Carried by number 20, Brooks Eiler, I believe. Yep, Brooks Eiler.
Good setup there by Fremont. 2 tight ends, far side, a wide receiver. You really make it think it's going to go pass, and then you run it right up the gullet.
Yeah, it's something that we're gonna expect to see quite a bit of run from Fremont, and we're gonna expect them to try and hand it off to their running backs. However, that eventually that does not work as they again kind of see that they get tired. As Cunnings is going to keep this one for himself, push all the way up for a first down, getting up to the 31-yard line. Just enough for that first down and moving the chains.
And if they were able to keep going forward, Brooks Island with a really good block in front, unfortunately got tackled from behind.
Yeah, and it's, again, he's going to be the one to just run it down your throats and try and wear down that defense. And as he gets going, again, he may not be 10 yards, 15, 20 yards every run, but he's getting 5. And if you're averaging 5 yards a carry, then you're good. As Cunnings is going to keep this one again, although he will get stopped at the line of scrimmage, only getting forward for about 1 yard and tackled down once again. Cunnings, again, even with him running this much, you're also going to have to worry about how much he is taking in hits as well, because that's going to wear someone down very much.
The Bearcat defense on that play, they had it pretty much figured out right from the second. No tight end set on either side there for the Bearcats, so they knew it was a run play right up the middle.
Yeah, and Kearney's going to need to stop the run, force them to throw the ball, and force them to make a play. That is what Kearney's goal will be tonight. A handoff once again, a flag on the field as he gets stopped after a carry of about 5 yards, spun off a defender. But with that being said, our first flag on the field, we'll go through our referees tonight. At the referee is Steve Nelson, umpire Bill Dutton, linesman George Finley, line judge Brian Duhasek, and back judge Shane Smith. And I missed the call looking down at our card. Alex, did you see what they had called?
I believe it was a holding penalty there on Fremont. I'll back them up 10.
Yeah, judging by that distance, that does make sense.
Makes it 2nd down 18.
Brooks lined up to Hudson's left. Hudson drops back to pass. Caden Wary on the reception. Tackled after about a gain of 5, 6, 7 yards, somewhere within that. Again, that'll be a 3rd and 13, a 5-yard reception for Caden Wary.
And penalties early on starting to bite Fremont where it hurts, because that could have been this could be a very manageable 3rd down 3, 3rd down 2, but now you're looking at 3rd down 13.
Yeah, and it's something that you really don't want to see, especially you should see penalty-wise not as many as as Fremont's on their 3rd game of the season. You would think that some of their penalties would come down. Cunnings drops back to pass, rolls out to the near side. Pass too far out of bounds, just on top, just too high for him to reach.
Really great coverage there by Ben Cumpston there to make sure that was an uncatchable ball. Went right through the hands of the Fremont receiver, and just like that, Kearney High with their first opportunity on the ball.
Ben Cumpston himself had a great game last week as Jack Dahlgren and Xander Ruling were kind of double-teamed on Malachi Coleman the entire game. He had that weak side, kind of not letting anything go up on the other side. Xander Ruling himself had a terrific game return-wise. Had 60-some yards of return and forced huge offensive field position. As Xander Ruling grabs that one about the 35. Xander Ruling breaks through. He will keep going. He's inbounds, makes a cut inside. He gets past one defender, and he's in for the touchdown. Xander Ruling returns it all the way to the house. Kearney scores early here on the kick return, up 6-0 right away. Kearney not even one offense possession in, and they find themselves with a lead.
Man, oh man, what a run. He's just cutting through there like a hot knife on butter there, Mitchell. It just, weaving right through, kind of like a needle in the haystack. Well, not a needle in a haystack, needle when you're knitting.
Yeah.
But, that's just that's the result that you need to have if you're Kearney High, the momentum jump to get on this game early.
Yeah, and you can tell, you can hear it already. Kearney fans are loud. The student section's loud. Rowdies are ready to go as they get ready to kick the PAT, regardless, as they will have a last substitution come in. The kick is up, and it rings true. Kearney finds themselves with a 7-0 lead here early. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
Well, all my dreams are sweet. Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads, because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank.
Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Kearney, on the punt return by Xander Ruling, finds themselves up 7-0 here just a couple minutes into this game. Again, I was talking about it before. He had some huge returns, and as I'm giving him all the praise he deserves, sends one back to the house.
Just a great play there for Kearney High. You get all the momentum you need. You're now up 7-0. And the defense has things figured out pretty well. You can't ask for anything better if you're Kearney.
Yeah, they may have given up a first down, but regardless, just fine. As that kickoff goes back to Dominic Escobedo again, and he cuts through the middle. But there to wrap him up is number 4, Justin Murray, open field tackle. Great play to save a huge return, as they get the return up to about the 23-yard line.
It looked like Escobedo there. He was looking to go for a run of his own. He was starting to pick up as much speed as he needed. He cut through a couple of tackles. He was getting some momentum and some confidence. He was getting ready to roll through and make one a 99-yarder to the house.
Yeah, it is. So far, looked like a great time on the return side of the ball. But again, as we get ready to go, Cunnings lined up in the shotgun. Brooks Eiler to his left. That pass just through the hands of Jackson Siza. And incomplete, forcing a 2nd and 10 here.
Tight ends on both sides. It's pretty obvious at that point that was going to be a pass play. And at this point, Kearney High, they have everything figured out set-wise. What Fremont's going to run, it looks like.
And exactly. That is something that Kearney is going to want to keep it up, because I know they've studied plenty of film this week, and I even talked to some of the players about what to expect today as they take one up the middle, kind of follow, as you're going to see, again, you're going to see Hudson Cunnings, again, taking the ball himself, not afraid to take a hit, and he finds himself with a 7-yard pickup.
And that offensive line for Fremont doing a really good job. They're able to weave a couple of big holes for him. And just like that, you've got Cummings who's able to make it a solid 7-yard run.
Yeah, and it's something, again, we can't say it enough. Cunnings is going to be the major part of this offense today.
Well, this set we haven't seen yet with 2 on the near side.
They've normally been lining up to that far position. Cunnings is going to keep it himself, get close, and it looks like he will have enough for a first down just by a yard, and will move the chains again.
Just by the hairs of his chinny chin there, Mitchell.
And it is amazingly just enough to keep things alive for them. Again, they're moving the chains well today. However, they did have that one penalty that held them back.
Of course, they've kept things pretty clean so far, but you have to wonder how long that's going to last. When you've got a team that's playing their 3rd game within the first drive, they have one momentum killer penalty. Hopefully it doesn't happen again if you're a Fremont fan.
Yeah, again, we're going to see another different formation from the Fremont Tigers, kind of line up with 2 in the back, one to Cunning's left. That won't pay off, though, as Brooks Eiler gets swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Setting up a 2nd down and 9.
Couldn't really do a lot there for Fremont. I mean, they tried, but nothing really you could do there.
Again, it's going to be Fremont's going to be focused kind of on that run game. We've already seen that they have not been successful in the pass game today, but they're going to be focused on that run game, trying to wear down the Bearcat defensive line, as we're going to see a flag tossed in by our head official, Steve Nelson. Be illegal formation on the offense. Be a second down and I believe 14.
And this, again, we mentioned it in the last drive. A penalty of that nature should not be showing up in game number 3 of the season, you would think. And just like that, it makes a very manageable second down and, let me see here, that was second down
9.
Second down 9 into second down 14.
Say, I tell you what, math is a pain. Anyway, as Hudson Cunnings in the backfield fakes the handoff, throws to the receiver there, finds his receiver for a gain of about 9-10 yards. Will result in a third and kind of medium area for Fremont. A bit too long for ideal, but still somewhat manageable.
First made pass of the day. They're now 1 for 3. That's 33%. And trust me, Mitchell, I know a little bit of math.
We got a little bit up here. We're not mathematicians experts, but we got a little bit.
I got enough math to get me through college, and that was it. And then I focused on spelling.
I'll tell you what, my math class has not happened this semester here in high school, so I got a little bit. Hennings will take this himself. He breaks through one tackle, stumbled up, plenty of excess after the first down, gets a run of about 15, maybe 20, but plenty of time, took it himself, found the hole, and again, broke one tackle and stumbled his way for a couple extra yards.
And on that one, Fremont had the double set wide receivers on both sides. They spread out the defense, and then you're able to run it up the gullet like what we've expected all game.
Yeah, and it's something that, again, like we've expected it, they know Kearney's going to expect the same thing as they fake the handoff to the pass, make the reception. Jackson Siza on the reception, tackled up by number 10, Jack Dahlgren. Dahlgren, a senior on this squad. Xander Ruling, I have also failed to mention, is the only returning starter for the Bearcats on any side of the ball. He was a returning starter on the defensive side, not the offensive. He did have a couple looks on the offensive side last season, but never a start. But he is the only returning player and is a junior this year. Cunnings in the backfield once again. Behind him, Eiler. Cunnings keeps it himself. Breaks one tackle. Shoved out of bounds by number 31, Ethan Kowalik.
Kowalik really did all that he could there. I do have a technical note. The score is a bit off. Currently it is 7-0. We are working to resolve that. Thank you for your patience here on Kearney High Strive.
Yeah, we are. We have a new score bug system this year, and we are still working out some of those kinks, as you see here. And we know we had a couple issues even in our volleyball game earlier this week on Tuesday. Regardless, we are working towards getting that fixed, and we'll keep moving forward. We'll keep you updated with the score, and I can tell you we can read, so that will be accurate.
We might not be able to add or spell, but we can read. They taught us that much in Kansas.
We can do that. As Cunnings takes the hole, breaks a couple tackles, and swallowed up at about 5 yards later. Fremont's got themselves a nice drive going here, taking off about 4 or 5 minutes off this clock, and is still driving down the field, getting first downs, and just simply running the ball.
And at this point, the passing attack, you kind of look to that every 5, 6, 7 opportunities. But at this point, you're just looking to find holes to run through. And this Fremont offensive line has done such a great job building those holes up.
You should kind of see some of those defensive line players currently are Israel Uma and Baker Bertrand. Those Uma on the inside and Bertrand on the far side there. I cannot pick up our inside. As the pass is deflected, almost picked up by Cunnings. It was deflected by, I believe, Aiden Poppy, the near side defensive lineman there, as he will come to the sideline as well as Bertrand and Uma. But again, you kind of saw that pass deflection, and Cunning's smart enough, able to pick it up, not allow that interception, as there were several Bearcat hands very close to that football. He was able to pick it up and try and get maybe a yard, not a yard less of loss per se out of that, rather than just the full almost sack.
Does that count as a run or a pass?
I'm gonna go with a run.
All right.
I don't think you can pass to yourself. That's what I'm gonna take it as. Cunnings drops back to pass. No one there. Deflection, I believe, forces a 4th and 5. We'll have to see what Fremont decides to do. It looks like they will keep the offense on the field. At least that's the look momentarily.
Ben Cumston with a really good deflection there on the second try. Goes around here on the far side, gets past his blocker, and is able to get something going. And, you can't get an interception out of it yet, but a really good job so far, breaking up 2 really good opportunities for Fremont.
Yeah, Cunnings is going to have to deal with some of that rush coming from the Bearcats today. And he's just going to have to work the best he can. And, again, you're going to see some of that mobility come to use as he drops back to pass. Short pass, almost picked off by Xander Ruling. Xander cannot believe it, how he let that one go through his hands. Regardless, it'll be a turnover on downs as Fremont lost, unable to make a completion for a first down. Kearney's got the ball with 2:51 here to go in the first quarter.
Braden Reeder, the intended target there for Fremont, as it looks like we will have a timeout called.
Quickly see who it will be an official timeout. To see why real quick.
Let's say Coach Brandon Cool talking with the side judge here.
It isn't a referee timeout rather than a team issue timeout.
I don't think the heat would come into play here at this point.
It is certainly cooling down. I believe it is 89 here in Kearney, so it is still a little hot.
And when you think about that turf, you usually add about a solid 10, 15 degrees on it. Albeit a nice little breeze coming here or there, but you could be looking at a solid 100 degrees, 105 degrees down there on the turf.
Yeah, and so it's certainly something like that is they're not going to take much issue if they decide to give both teams a little extra water to get things going. It looks like the referees will take advantage of that as well, grabbing some water of their own. Both as well from our athletic trainers. Our athletic trainers were recognized alongside Lincoln East at the away game last week, as both Lincoln East and Kearney High in week 1 wore special athletic training, talking about how important it was, just signifying the importance of having an athletic trainer on site at athletics practices, games, and all that sort of stuff, just kind of honoring athletic trainers for week 1.
A lot of unthanked work they do.
Beckman pitches it off to Eli Randolph. Randolph has a hole. He's got enough for a first down. He will pick up about 14, 15 yards. Beckman with a quick pitch out to Randolph. Beckman, again, a senior, but it is the first offensive play for Kearney today after the house call by Xander Ruling on the punt return for about, he had about 70-yard punt return. But again, Kearney, their first play. Beckman received the snap there. But again, kind of going to see you've got Eli Randolph on the near to his left. You got Xander Ruling as well as Carter Lee on the near side. Those are 3 juniors in themselves: Randolph, Ruling, and Lee. Ruling has a catch at the 35. Quickly using his speed. I tell you what, he's got killer speed. He will, as you can see it there, he will use his speed and get by the defender. For all Beckman has to do is put in the right spot to get that completion. And Kearney's marching down the field with plenty of momentum here already.
Crossed right into the middle. There was nobody there for Fremont to cover, and it was easily a one-on-one battle. Good job there by Ruling, a solid 35-some-odd yard pass.
And you kind of see that the safeties are playing awfully close to the line here. Only about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, so that's going to be open all night as Randolph tries to run away from a couple defenders, tripped up, tackled by number 9, Ben Avalos, and Avalos will go down. We are going to take a quick timeout at the same time as the athletic trainers check him out, but you are watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. We have the injuries resolved here at Foster Field as we get things ready to go once again. 1:32 left in the first quarter. Xander Ruling has been an amazing, bright, shining star for the Bearcats so far today. Pretty much the largest sources of offense so far. Beckman takes it, keeps it himself. He gets past one defender. Lee had a solid block on the far side to get Beckman another couple yards at the end of the run. Lee, what a wonderful downfield block, keeping that defender away from a tackle, and then ultimately forcing Beckman out of bounds.
And that right there was the difference between 7 or 8 yards that Lee block, because if you didn't have that, you'd be looking at probably 50 seconds at this point, and you probably wouldn't be scoring by the end of the quarter.
Yeah, Kearney's going to try and again, this is usually a first half team for Fremont so far in these games. Kearney runs it up kind of towards that edge, doesn't really get anything, maybe loses a yard with Eli Randolph on the carry, I believe. Yep, Eli Randolph on the carry. Randolph will come out, take a quick break. Beckman getting the call from the sideline.
Tackle there made by Preston Wagner for Fremont.
They will credit him with a 0-yard run. Regardless, Kearney lines up. 2 receivers to the near side, to the far side. Dahlgren and Hudson Bertrand on the near side, Lee and Xander on the other side. Flags are going to go up into the air. We'll likely see a false start signal, so Kearney will have to move it back 5 yards. And retry here with 33 seconds left. Kind of, again, something you do see with, again, this is Kearney's second game. So kind of still some of those first game stuff. It's first game at home, first game with all of this. Kind of, again, you're going to have to get used to it.
Can't really blame them that much. This is, again, only the first drive. Hard to think with 33 seconds left in the first quarter, we're finally having offensive drive number 1.
Yeah, and at that, it's only been 4 or 5 plays. So Kearney, again, still first drive here at home, first couple plays. Beckman gets it off to Carter Lee. Carter Lee cuts inside, gets close to a first down. It'll be a couple yards short.
There was nobody in the flats there for Fremont. It seemed like there's nobody who was there. And it's just an easy pass to make there for Carter. Where were people?
And it's again, you're kind of seeing Kearney's running those 4 wide receivers. They're ready. They're going to either run it on the outside, run up the middle, and they're not afraid to maybe not be the most successful up the middle, but they're ready to take something on the outside. As we hit the end of the first quarter, Kearney's in the red zone knocking on the door here with 3rd. Kearney's up 7-0. We'll be right back with the second quarter of action. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
Well, all my dreams are sweet.
Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads, because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank.
It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. Hot sun, the rain's gone, we gonna have a lot of fun. All I serve got a smiling face for everyone. Life can be so beautiful when you stop to judge and look just.
Welcome back into the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. We kind of see the Rowdies there tonight. Again, it's white out. Big day, first home game for the team. We'd like to congratulate, I guess this is that Rowdies camera is the only unmanned camera here we have tonight, but our camera operators, Sarah Dalkey and Claudette as well. They doing a tremendous job tonight as Kearney will open up on the other side of the field, ready to get things going. Beckman takes it, pitches it outside to Kwolek. Kwolek has the outside. Trucks through one defender and pushed out of bounds at the end by number 25, Bernardo Alfredo.
And it was almost a tackle there made by Dominic Escovedo. This shows here, Mitchell, how many, the amount of depth that Kearney High has. And you can tell if you were looking out there, Kearney High with about 40 guys on their sideline, Fremont with about 20.
Yeah. Kowalik lines up to the near side. Beckman pitches outside to Kowalik. Kowalik goes through one, breaks a tackle, reaches for the end zone, and they're going to say no. He's down at the 1. I cannot believe it. I could have.
It looked like he might have broken the plane, but his knee was down about the 6-inch line.
Zach could have swore he had made it on there. However, it will be 3rd down and 1st and goal, as they're going to bring in their kind of power back, per se, Sawyer Schilke, and he himself lit things up kind of for the Bearcats, giving them some much-needed momentum, getting in the red zone territory against Lincoln East. However, they will go kind of with a more larger pack, bring in a couple tight ends and an extra offensive lineman. We got a fullback. Sawyer will line up, and they will hand it off to Sawyer inside, and he will run inside for an easy touchdown. Kearney now leads 13-0, awaiting the PAT.
And there's a Fremont High Tiger that's slow to get up, Bernardo Alfaro. He's been a big member of that Fremont defense. And if you have him down for a good chunk of this contest, if you're Kearney High, you get a lot of momentum with the touchdown. You get a lot of momentum if you take Alfaro out of the contest.
Yeah, and it's something Kearney now, first drive, now up 2 scores as the kick is up, and it rings true. Kearney now has themselves a 14-0 lead. We'll be right back. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Back into the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. So we can kind of see Kearney starting off strong here tonight. Beckman himself, two completions on 2 attempts for 40 yards. He's 100% tonight in passing wise. Rushing wise, Beckman leads the squad with 1 attempt and 16 yards. Eli Randolph right behind him, 12 yards on 3 carries. Kowalik, 10 yards on 2 carries, and Sawyer with 1 yard on 1 carry and a touchdown at that. Xander Ruling himself, 27 yards receiving, and Carter Lee, 13 to his name. Xander Ruling also 65 yards on the punt return game.
Kearney High on the passing side of things, it helps with the holes that we've seen in the Fremont defense, getting them that good a yardage.
Again, a kick to the 1, not a much better place for Kearney to put it, and a quick way to get down the field. Good wrap-up tackle by Trevor Barrett. Again, called his name the second time on a kickoff. He got down there last time as a gunner, kind of just straight down there, able to get the wrap-up for the tackle.
Escovedo on the return for Fremont, a name that we've said quite a few times here on the broadcast.
And it is certainly something that Kearney is going to have to keep, certainly a name Kearney is going to have to keep contained within the return game. As they hand it off on the middle, breaks 1 tackle. Kearney able to wrap him up after a gain of about 9-10. Brooks Eiler still doing well. Cunnings leads the team with 45 yards on 9 attempts tonight. Brooks Eiler, not many attempts to his name tonight, but regardless, still there. Cunnings lines up in the shotgun. Eilers to his right. Gets about 4 yards on the first down carry. As Fremont has driven well in their last possession. Their first one didn't really get anywhere, kind of held back by a penalty. The second one drove all the way down the field, got stopped on 4th down, about 4th and 5. Kind of too far for too far for a field goal and too short for a punt. But again, they've done well, somewhat well on offense, even though with the lack of points.
Seems like with Fremont, whenever they go into one of these formations, looks like they're going to go run. This one, I expect them to go pass.
Yeah, it is something that they're going to try and get a little bit of trickery out of Kearney as Cuttings is just going to decide to keep it himself, and he's going to get about 2-3 yards on the carry going through the middle of the line, going to give Fremont about a third and about 3 or 4.
And that is why I don't try to be the next Tony Romo.
We don't exactly have the football experience he does.
And everybody dogged on Tony Romo when he was playing because he was such a bad quarterback. And you put him in the booth, you put him with Jim Nantz, and all of a sudden he's the best thing on planet Earth.
He knows the game almost better than anyone in a broadcast booth.
He does.
Hennings keeps this one to himself. Cunnings. A great snag by number 86, Braden Reeder. A great snag over the top of a Bearcat. Kearney just kind of looked away for a second, didn't quite have his head up ready to make a play on that ball.
They've tried to connect to Reeder a couple of times in this contest, finally able to get one to him. The best part about it, you see Cunnings roll out there to the far side, and you think he's got the connection, he's able to make the connection.
Yeah, it's one of their better pass plays today. I believe they're definitely their longest pass play, potentially their longest play all day. A handoff up the middle to Brooks. He's going to get 10 himself, maybe 9. We'll see where they spot the ball. They will say 9 yards on the carry. Time ticking away. Again, we are now 8 minutes, 40 seconds in. At halftime, we will have the marching band as well as the dance cats and potentially the cheerleaders. I'm not quite sure if we'll see that or not. Again, Cunnings in the backfield. Hands it off to Brooks. Brooks bounces off one tackle. There's a ball on the ground. Kearney says they have it. We'll see. Wait for the official call.
Murray was celebrating.
Indeed,
there
Kearney's
it is.
got it. That's a fumble for Brooks. Eiler. And Kearney's got the ball heading the other direction with 8 minutes, 20 seconds left to go.
It really looked like Kearney had the football, especially when you see out there, about 15 yards away from the play. Justin Murray excited as all ever and trying to get the Rowdies excited too. And then finally, you get the official reaction. And it's just an electric feeling if you're a Kearney High Bearcat.
Yeah, and it's something that you kind of got to wait because, again, you're always hopeful that you do get that fumble recovery, but the referees always take their time getting out there, and you kind of feel the anticipation. But Kearney's ready to go for their second offensive drive of the day. Beckman keeps it himself, cuts upfield. Following his blockers, gets about 11, 12 yards on the carry. And enough for a first down. Kearney's still steamrolling up ahead. No issues whatsoever.
Can't ask for a better opportunity if you're Kearney High, and you have to capitalize on the momentum just like that, 12 yards. Can't ask for anything better.
Quinn Foster will check in for the Bearcats as well. He'll be on the near side, all the way on the near side of your screen, all the way at the bottom there. Beckman lines up. Eli Randolph to his left. Hand off to Randolph. Randolph spins off one tackle, keeps trucking forward. Tell you what, say that again 3 times fast, hand off to Randolph. Might be my new favorite saying. However, he, regardless, gets about 6-7 yards on the play, forcing a 2nd and 3.
And Fremont helped him out there. The tackle from behind pushed him 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, he's able to, Eli, quick on his feet, agile, able to spin off things, as the head principal, Mr. Gans, is off shooting T-shirts on the sideline. I believe he sent one over the roof. However, Beckman fakes the handoff. Pass caught by Justin Murray. Murray breaks the tackle. He's into the end zone. Bearcats have another one on the board. Kearney's up 20-0. Murray, excited as could be. Kearney can't ask for a much better start than this.
Nathan Jones tried to make that final tackle, but just when he tried and then when he failed, all you knew is it was just 15 yards from pay dirt, and just like that, Kearney's able to make green grass turn into 6.
Yeah, you thought maybe he was just going to be right there, potentially get tackled about the 5, get Kearney things, force Kearney back into it. keep going on offense. However, breaks the tackle, finds the green grass at the end of the end zone, in this case the blue grass, and that is now a 21-0 lead for the Bearcats. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
There's no place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Kearney scores again, this time from the hands of Traven Beckman to the hands of Justin Murray. And again, finding that blue grass in the end zone. However, Kearney now up 21-0. Fremont has got, if they want to stay in this game, we said this at the beginning, Fremont is, from their first two games, appears to be a first half team, which is a struggle for them if this is how they've opened their first half.
You know, Mitchell, Kearney High and Fremont have played previously. The last time these two teams met up back in 2017, Kearney High 61, Fremont 16.
I did see that, and I believe, who was it that had an amazing game that day?
Will Jorgensen.
That's the one. Great game that day. Kearney had, I believe, had an all right year that year too as well. Kearney is going to send this one deep to no one else other than Dominic Escovedo. He will take that at the one again. Every kickoff has gone to the 1 yard line. Spins off one tackle, goes out of bounds. Only gets about 1 or 2 yards after that spin off. Kearney finds themselves on defense once again, looking to make the most of it. Kearney again on defense. They're doing plenty well so far today. They have let up 77 rushing yards as well as 41 passing yards. However, that has not mattered as they have stopped Fremont ultimately with a turnover on downs, a fumble recovery, and then just flat out stopping them and forcing them to punt. A handoff to number 20, Brooks Eiler, results in about 8-ish yards.
Score update from across town. Currently, Kearney Catholic leads Hershey 7-0 into the first quarter.
Again, certainly Kearney Catholic adjusting to their new class, moving down to Class C2 this season. Cunning is in the backfield. Fumbled snap. Bearcats. Deep haul downfield. Does not matter. Incomplete. Pass intended for Dominic Escovedo, and he is down once again on the far sideline. There's a fumbled snap by Fremont straight to the ground. And we're going to guess Dominic Escovedo took a bit of a rough bounce coming down to the ground, trying to jump off after that one. We're going to take a quick break for this injury timeout. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. 6:16 left to go here in the first half. Another injury timeout for Fremont. This time Dominic Escovedo, but he is up and moving around on the Fremont sideline.
He's got his helmet off, so I don't think we're going to see him the next play. Again, you have to stay out for at least one play, but I don't think he's going to be in for the rest of the half.
Yeah, he's currently getting checked out by the trainers, kind of moving those legs around. Handoff up the middle by Brooks Eiler. Makes one cut into the inside and gets plenty for a first down. Wrapped up by the Bearcats. He was able to jump around one of the players, one of the Kearney defenders, and making it look easy.
Never mind, Escovedo's put his helmet back on. He hasn't entered yet, so we could see him again here in the first half.
So my guess is it took a rough bounce and already getting used to being fine. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side for Fremont. Regardless, still going to hand it up the middle. Brooks Eiler is going to get about 4 yards on that carry. Clock still ticking away, 5:40 left to go. Our scoreboard is wrong, just due to a bug we can't exactly figure out. It's 21-0. However, it is possible to get a 21-1 game. That is not the case here tonight.
Ah, the joys of new technology.
It's got you. You're going to have issues almost anywhere, but you got to sort them out at some point. Second and 6 for the Fremont Tigers. Keep by Cunnings. Cunnings goes to the outside. It's going to be forced out of bounds at about the Kearney 36-yard line. Plenty for the first down, and that will stop the clock as well.
It's one of the first outside runs that we've seen so far from Fremont. They tend to run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle. Finally, they break it outside. Kearney's defense was waiting to crash in and cave in right there at the center of the field, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a second, we got to run over to the side.
Yeah, and it's exactly kind of they're gonna run it down the middle and wait for that big play on the outside. But they are led by an incredible offensive line. Handoff up the middle once again. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Won't get much, maybe a yard on that carry. Brooks Eiler on the carry.
Heard a lot from Eiler today. He's a pretty solid back for him so far.
Eiler with, I believe, 8 carries if we've got our book right. He's averaging 6.9 yards a carry, 55 total today. Again, Cunnings, 65 yards total on 11 carries. As Fremont will break the huddle, 4:30 and counting down left to go. Cunnings in shotgun. Drops back to pass. Heat coming from Murray. Murray tries to get a hand on it. Pass out there and caught at the 2-yard line. Caught by number 11, Jackson Siza. Kearney just didn't have much to do there. Kind of their passes have all been kind of jump up and go get them. Kearney now has their first red zone opportunity on defense with the ball down at the 3-yard line of the Bearcats.
Well, it was Sizer versus Ruling, and that time Ruling got behind. Nothing really you can do there except just bring them down.
Kearney's going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're going to show run up the middle. Cunnings cuts to the outside, walks into the end zone, and a touchdown for the Fremont Tigers puts them on the board for the first time tonight. 21-6 currently, awaiting the PAT.
Bit of a broken play there as a low snap there to Cunnings, and you were really starting to think, hold on a second, that's not the way it's supposed to look. Runs over to the side. Kearney was crashing middle and easily grabbing 6 there for Fremont.
Fremont made it work regardless of what happened. Now, Fremont, I believe, has had 2 blocked PATs on the season, and Kearney blocked one last week, and they're hoping to do one again the same. As very close to the same, as I said it, 3 Bearcats, very close to that kicker there, but it rings true. Kearney leads the Fremont Tigers 21-7. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. You can hear the crowd getting into things here. But again, 2 juniors for the Bearcats back to receive the kickoff. Carter Lee and Xander Ruling. Xander Ruling, we've already seen, had one house call tonight on a kickoff. We'll see if he has the same in him on this return. We will see the first kickoff for Fremont today as well.
Nathan Jones will do the duties for the Tigers.
Kearney's going to have 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here in the first half to try and make things work. Here comes the kick from the Tigers. Deep kick heading to Carter Lee's direction. Lee picks up the ball, works himself to the center of the field. He's changing directions of the field, tucks it inside. He makes it around one side. Gets through one defender. We got a block upfield. Carter Lee is going to go all the way. The 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Bearcats. There's another house call. Add another one onto it. Kearney has the lead up. Add 6 to it. 27-7 awaiting this PAT.
No flags, no referees behind saying no, he stepped out of bounds here or there. Just a really good effort there from the blocking teams in front to get in front and get everybody out of the way. And just like that, all the way to the house, a 98-yarder.
I tell you what, this junior class has something to them. 2 house calls by 2 juniors today, and incredible work done by them as well. Jake on to kick the extra point. Snap, the hold, all good. Cap that off with a good PAT. Kearney's got the lead, 28-7. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Another house call for the Bearcats, this time at the hands and feet of Carter Lee. A deadly return team the Bearcats have here this year. Kearney ready to send this one deep once again. They have scored twice on 2 offensive drives, but they've only had 2 offensive drives. As a low kick goes back and is dropped once. It is dropped by Tigers, Dominic Escovedo. Regardless, he still gets it up past the 20, up to about the 22-yard line. Recovered quickly and got the most out of it.
Escovedo there again. He came back into the contest after having left earlier in the quarter with injury. It looked like he tweaked his knee and his leg a little bit. It's good to see him back out there. However, very concerning to see what things were looking like in the end. If he would have dropped in, it would have just been a bit of a stutter step for Fremont.
Yeah, luckily, he was still able to make a good play out of it. But again, we are ready to go here once again. As 3 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. A step back to make a defender move. I believe that defender that missed was Cole there. Regardless, a good pickup by Brooks Eiler.
Another scoreboard update for you. End of the first quarter, Omaha Westside leads Grand Island 14-0, and Grand Island Central Catholic North Bend scoreless.
Again, as a Kearney fan, we are glad we are happy to watch Grand Island lose any day of the week. However, we also like the upset, so we're both ways there. Handoff, scratch that. Cunnings is going to keep himself. He's going to get a good play. brought down by the hands of Carter Lee, just able to get onto him, a pickup of about 20. However, the clock will keep rolling and up and actually going to take that back. The clock won't roll yet. Now it will.
Had to stop there for the first down, reset the chains.
I had to think about the first down rules in high school. Again, first time broadcasting since last year, so we even have a little bit of defrosting we have to do.
Hey, at least the scoreboard's right this time.
The scoreboard is right now. They have some points on the board. Brooks Eiler cuts to the outside. Cole Brandt there to make the tackle.
Brandt, they're trying to go for the second fumble of the night.
Yeah, he did kind of get wrapped around on the outside. Had he been maybe 6-7 inches higher, would have had a hand on that ball, potentially stripping it out. We are at the 2-minute mark left here in the first half. Fremont taking their time. They've got all of their timeouts, so does Kearney. Brooks is going to line up to Eiler's left. Cunning's left. Cunning's fakes the handoff, throws. He's got the out route. Quickly wrapped up and tackled by.
I didn't catch who was on the tackle there, Mitchell. But whenever you see Cunnings roll out to that far side, it's always dangerous, it seems, because he's always finding the open opportunity, the open target. And just like that, second such opportunity there that Fremont has taken advantage of.
Jack Dahlgren gets the tackle there. Could have thought I saw 20 for a second, then realized that is not someone Kearney's got. Going to line up. Cunnings is going to keep it himself. Cunnings has enough for the first down and out of bounds with a minute left. Stops the clock. And will keep the momentum alive for Fremont so far here in the first half. Fremont trying to cut this lead down to only 14. Heading to the second half, going to try and give themselves a chance. We will have to see, though, as Cunnings jogs back to the field with the play.
Trying to find some more scores around Nebraska. The only ones I've been able to find so far, Grand Island West Side.
Cunnings in shotgun with Brooks to his left. Cunnings rolls out to the near side. Pass caught. Bobbled, we'll see. They do give him the catch. Pass caught by Nathan Jones. Bobbled on his way out of bounds, was able to retain possession. 55 seconds with the clock stopped.
This time, Cunnings rolling a little bit to the near side on that play.
And we've kind of seen Cunnings not afraid to roll out of the pocket, not afraid to make a play when needed on the ground or in the air, as his air stats have improved tremendously as the game has gone on. Now 90 yards, maybe minus that last play, but at least 90 yards so far tonight.
Seems like his best throws have been when he's mobile and he's out of the pocket.
Yeah, he looks to appear more comfortable there. Cunnings high snap, keeps for himself, takes it up the middle. Kearney defenders try to break him down. He reaches, almost loses the football, but will get down to about the 3-yard line. 48 seconds left, and a timeout called by the Fremont Tigers. We're going to take that one as well. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Bearcat Sports Network, we have another score update from the Class A football.
Big
regions.
one at that as well. Gretna up on Omaha Central 49-0.
I guess that is why Gretna is ranked so high this year.
It's only the second quarter in that one, too.
Cunning's going to come up under center. Moves a wide receiver in motion. Hands it off to Brooks. Brooks stopped at the 1, they're going to say.
A really good job there to contain there from Aiden Poppy.
And a timeout once again. We'll keep it here and we'll talk a little bit. Again, we'll go through some of these stats here. On the ground, Fremont's had 182 yards and 90 passing yards. They've got 2 penalties for 15 yards. They got 1 turnover on the day. But outside of that, they've been mainly just a 2-person offense. Hudson Cunnings and Brooks Eiler on the ground. Cunnings 113 yards. Brooks Eiler 69 yards on 10 carries. Receiving-wise, Size has got 3 receptions for 43 yards. Nathan Jones, 18 yards on 2 receptions. Brandon Garado, 16 yards, 1 reception. And Dominic Escovedo, 13 yards, 1 reception as well.
A couple more score updates for you. Bellevue West leading Omaha Burke 34-0, 17-7 the score between Elkhorn South and Millard South. That's the score there. And I believe this, Lincoln Southeast 14, Lincoln East nothing.
And walk ball back a couple yards. I believe that is a false start. Kearney clapping, knew it right away. Murray's trying to get the crowd up and going. 35 seconds that Kearney's got to kill here and keep Fremont out of the end zone.
Tough penalty if you're Fremont. That's the 4th one that I can think of on the day so far for him. And it's backed him up. Okay, the 3rd penalty, that's backed him up 20-some-odd yards in the contest. You can't afford small yardage like that, especially in a crunch time situation like this. 30 seconds, second down goal.
Yeah, it drastically changes things, but it isn't an awful thing either because sometimes those extra yards do kind of help you. Cunnings with a high snap, keeps it himself, rolls out of the pocket to the far side. Pass caught by number 86, the tight end Braden Reeder, and they have themselves another touchdown. 31 seconds left to go here in the game.
Reeder, a really good job able to break away. Nobody was around him in the end zone. And again, you have Cunnings on the rollout. When he's on the rollout, he's the most comfortable. I expect to see him doing that a lot here in the second half.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to keep alive if they're going to want to make a comeback in this game. He's got to be comfortable, and he's got to do what works best for him. On to kick the PAT, Nathan Jones. The kick up, and it is good. Kearney 28, Fremont 14. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. 31 seconds for magic to happen here in Kearney. Well, by magic, Kearney just got to do what they've been doing. Kearney would love another house call. Xander Riley and Carter Lee back to receive the kick once again. Both of them. Xander a punt return, Carter a kickoff return. Keeping the offense off the field for the Bearcats today. Not in the way you would have expected.
A little bit of a late way to break up the huddle here.
Xander.
Now they go.
Xander talking to his blockers up front, keeping them warned about anything short. See if Fremont might try something here, short amount of time. Jones to kick. Low squib kick, picked up and taken immediately to the ground by Barrett. Again, you're going to see that right away. Fremont's going to take that rather than a house call. Both their returns earlier, all of their returns have ended in the end zone, so they will take that over any possibility that they could have had just kicking it deep.
That's the best, really, at this point, the best decision you can make. And alongside that, if you can find a way to kick away from the returners, the more chances, the better, it seems like.
Kearney's got 30 seconds to march down the field and make something happen. We're going to see if they do decide to make that, indeed try to do something with that. Beckman into the huddle. Randolph to Beckman's right, Ruling and Lee on the near side. Dahlgren on the far side. Beckman fakes the handoff. He's got Dahlgren on the far side. Dahlgren's got the catch. Does not break the tackle, but pulled out of bounds at the 15-yard line. An 8-second play, and Kearney's in the red zone just like that.
Nathan Jones, who made the tackle, was mad with himself at the very end because he's the one who tackled him and pulled him out of bounds. If he wouldn't have done that, you have Kearney High burning through one of their timeouts. They got all three, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But you have Kearney burning through a timeout, and you have less resources for the Bearcats to work through. Jones with a touchdown-saving tackle, but a fatal mistake there as well.
Yeah, there's Kearney, again, testing that arm of Beckman, showing it off. Beckman has been on fire, and so have the receivers tonight. Kearney's got 3 stud receivers so far proving their points tonight. Beckman rolls out to the pocket near side, looking downfield. Pass incomplete, intended for Xander Ruling on the near sideline. It'll take off 5 seconds off the clock, but an incompletion at that will keep the clock stopped.
It's one of those low-risk plays, it looks like, because, I mean, even if you did make the catch, then you all of a sudden have to burn a timeout. Not the worst thing in the world in all reality. Plus, go ahead.
Kearney's working on that near sideline, kind of those out routes we saw there. So Xander, unless there was that heads-up play by Fremont, Xander had the option to try and get out of bounds with the catch.
Fremont was flushing them near side. Expect to see some more pressure on this play.
Beckman drops back to pass. Pass to the end zone. Xander Ruling catch, falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Bearcats. Kearney's got another one. 35, well, not yet. 34-14. Awaiting this PAT.
And big credit there to the offensive line. Fremont was going double blitzed again. They were doing, it looks like, a little bit more than what they did last time. If it wasn't for the offensive front keeping their ground, holding their line, you would have you could have seen a sack there. Instead, they turned it into 6.
On a drive that took 18 seconds, Kearney finds themselves in the end zone with 7. That field goal, that PAT is good. Kearney 35, Fremont 14. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Kearney up 35-14 against Fremont. Again, if you're not following the @Kearney Bearcats on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, do so now. At least on Twitter, you can see pictures from touchdown runs and just in general see updates and pictures like that. It appears only on Twitter. You can see that currently. But to kick for the Bearcats will be Jake Crackle. Here's a kick. Short kick, fair caught by Aiden Wiesman. Fremont's got 12 seconds left. We'll see what they decide to do with it.
Hopefully giving them a short field won't hurt the Bearcats later on, because when you think about it, if you were to kick it long and it were to go to Escovedo, he dropped a catch earlier tonight. We could have seen him do it again.
Fremont appears that they will go in the time kneel victory formation here, but they will be kneeling the clock out, it appears, and that they will do. Kearney's going to head into halftime with a 35-14 lead. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back with the halftime performance of the marching band and dance cats. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
There's no place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Ladies and gentlemen, to kick off your halftime entertainment this evening, please welcome to the field Kearney High School dance cats. Freshman Caleb Fischler, sophomores Corsa Benner, Ashley Hawk, Maya Hazard, April and Brooke Van Horn, juniors Warren John, Vivian Lewis, Ellie Pierce, Lauren Sedlacek, Carrington Taylor, and Morgan Wickham. The seniors, co-captain Ava Florell and captain Hester Miller, coach Peggy Rusher. And now, your Kearney High School dance cats. This year's squad includes freshmen Shane Brown, Nicole Butter, sophomores Abby Ramirez, House, Chloe Hazard, Chloe Howard, Gila Rip, Ray Schuster, Jackie Wilkeby, Sarah Hempstead, Hayden Field, Ty Royal, and Adriana Valadisto. The juniors, Rafaela Barajas, Lexi Thiel, Atina Riosco, Billy Ritter, and Constance Murphy, and senior Maya Chavez, coaches Brianna Jackson and Ashley Nook. And now, your Kearney High School cheerleaders. members have been hard at work since July preparing for the 2022 season. Tonight, they're excited to present the first two movements of their 2022 show entitled Raw. Raw is the power of the sun ancient Egyptian religion and is responsible for life, warmth, and growth on the planet. This show takes you on a journey through its mythology and the endless cycle of Ra's existence. The first movement is entitled Out of the Waters and will feature Elbow soloist Sam Prince. The second movement is Journey Across the Sky as Ra sails through the sky, shedding light onto the earth. Once again, featuring Sam Prince on the elbow, the drum line, and Jimmy soloist Kearney Goldberg. And now, fans, sit back and enjoy the show. Kearney Public Schools is proud to present in performance the Kearney High School Marching Band. Drum majors Nathan Sunberg, Kimberly Gomez, and Evan Cooper is your band ready to take the field. The field is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we brought your attention to the center of the field, along the home sideline.
Well, oh, my dreams are sweet.
Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads, because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank. There's no place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. Hot sun, the rain's gone, we gonna have a lot of fun. All our sorrows are gone, a smiling face for everyone. Life can be so beautiful when you stop to judge and roll. Just be free. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's
back into the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. We're here with our halftime update. We'll start quickly with an update of the weekly athletics. The major news, perfect game by freshman Lauren Schmeitz yesterday on a 12-0 victory against Lincoln High. That game, an amazing offensive game for Kearney. Volleyball lost twice this week. They're currently playing tonight. I do not have a score yet from there. And as well as and then softball lost to Northwest Tuesday this week as well. But other than that, Kearney's had a great week. Cross country's at a meet tomorrow morning. They already had a meet this week. Currently, we have Athletic Hall of Fame or honoring of some sort. I did not get a list on that today. But tennis had a couple meets this week. Golf had a meet this week that they placed just 4th or 5th in. And other than that, that has been our week of athletics here at Kearney High. With that being said, we can go into some quick score updates from around Nebraska.
Well, we'll start off and see if I can find any Class A scores, as I've ran into all of the Class C1 and the C2. Speaking of Class C2, the boys across town, Kearney Catholic right now with a 24-7 lead over Hershey. Looking around the rest of Class A, finally found one of them. Omaha Westside, 23-7 lead over Grand Island Senior High. And we've also got in there, of course, here we are back to the good old days of six-man. North Platte, St. Pat's, and Highline right now scoreless. Cole Ballard with a touchdown to put Elkhorn South up over Millard South, 24-14 currently in that contest. Looking as well across the area, got, now starting to run into more of the scores from out west where you have nothing really. Dundee County Stratton over Perkins County currently 38-8 in 8-man action. Kearney Catholic again with that 24-7 lead over Hershey. I had a couple of scores earlier. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for previously. Lincoln Southeast over Lincoln East, 14-0 at halftime. Also got in there Hartington Cedar Catholic, 20-0 lead over David City Aquinas. West Point Beamer right now, end of the third quarter there, it's 34-0 as West Point Beamer leads Arlington, and Waverly leading Beatrice 21-14.
We'll take a quick look into the halftime statistics from the game so far today. Looking at some of the team stats, Kearney, here this one's going to be absurd to you. Kearney currently is leading 35-14. However, we look at the total plays run. Kearney has run 15 plays today.
Not surprising, and considering you look at how they've done a lot of great things on the defensive side of the ball, they've done a lot of really good things return-wise. And then on the last play of the last drive, you see the short kick from Fremont. You think that, okay, well, here we go. They're trying to avoid kicking it to Ruling and Lee. No, he just gave him 30 free yards. Who cares at that point? Why do you give him 30 free? Able to make it 18 seconds for a drive and get the touchdown.
And it's something like, again, if you hadn't tuned into the first half, you wouldn't have that large, because Fremont has run 41 plays, so that big of a difference. We're looking at total offense. Fremont leads that battle yardage-wise, 280 yards to 210. Again, Kearney just quickly, they had those two kickoff returns. So they've got two kickoff and a punt return, I should say. But they've got those two those yards don't count for them. Looking at time of possession, Fremont 18-27 to Kearney's 5-21. So a large difference there. 28 rushing attempts for Fremont to Kearney's 9. Fremont's got 184 yards from the ground game, coming to Kearney's 56. Fremont is 8 for 13 from the air, and Kearney's 5 for 6 in the air. 96 passing yards for Fremont to 154 for Kearney. Kearney's got 2 passing touchdowns to Fremont's 1. No interceptions to either side. Fumbles, Fremont has lost their only fumble, and Kearney has not fumbled yet. Fremont still only has that 1 turnover. They've had 16 first downs, 12 of those rushing, 4 of them passing. Kearney's got 9 first downs, 5 through the air and 4 on the ground. Third down conversions, Fremont is 5 for 7. Kearney's 1 for 1. They've only had their 1 third down. Fremont is 0 for 1 for fourth down. conversions. Penalties, again, Fremont has had 3 for 20 yards. Kearney's only had their 1 for 5 yards, a quick false start at the beginning of the game. No one has recorded a sack yet, but Fremont is the only one to have punted, and they've punted once. They've had an average of 30. I guess their only punt has been for 37 yards today.
And that one punt taken back to the house, too, at that also.
Yeah. So, again, not a whole lot going on scoring statistic-wise for Kearney. Kind of taken aback by kind of how that looks. Leading the rushing game is Traven Beckman with 26 yards. And Eli Randolph with 19. Leading the receiving stats is Jack Dahlgren with 1 reception, 49 yards. We saw him on his that almost made it to the end zone. Xander Ruling, 2 receptions for 47 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Murray, 1 reception, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. Carter Lee, 13 yards and 1 reception.
You know, Mitchell, looking here at this second half, if you're Fremont, I think Cunnings has to roll out of the pocket a few more times in this one if they want to keep containing and getting stuff on the board. If you're Kearney High, start blitzing a lot more and just keep making them pay defensively, because you got to realize a lot of depth that Kearney High has in comparison to Fremont. Kearney's got 45, 65 guys on their sideline. Fremont only has 20.
Yeah, and it's going to be something where Fremont's got to have people step up if they want to come back and win this game. They can't put everything on Hudson Cunnings and Brooks Eiler. That just can't be how this game works. They've got to have a lot more to this game if they want to come away with a victory. And we will see their kickoff situation. They will squib kick it again. High bounce, caught, and will be returned. Caught by number 33, Brighton Taubenheim, a senior. 5'9" senior. We don't hear his name all too often, as that'll take 2 seconds off the clock. We're ready to go here in the second half.
You know, when you look at that one, I understand trying not to get it back there to Lee and Ruling. But, you know, now you're putting Kearney High at the 35. You would have thought that Fremont, learning from last mistakes, the last time they kicked it off, not to do that.
And again, Fremont's comparing this to either we're going to give up some extra yards, 10, 15 yards, as the pitch outside to Kowalik goes for only a yard. I believe that is Kowalik. And I am correct in that statement. Again, Fremont's looking at it as we're either going to give them an extra 15 yards off a touchback, or we're going to let up another touchdown on a kickoff, which the only kickoff they've had was housed, and so was their only punt. So it's kind of something they're going to have to look at, choose and pick their battles, as Beckman is in the shotgun, rolls out to the pocket to the near side, keeps it for himself, quickly meets the defender, and is driven backwards. He won't gain anything there, but we'll be back to a 3rd and 9. Kearney's, I think, first third down.
That'd be their second one, I believe. They're one for one
second
on the day.
one. Yes, that's what I meant.
The problem there for Beckman was that he was trying to roll out near side, and that's exactly where the Fremont blitz was dialed into. So, unfortunately, the numbers connected, and Kearney High getting no gain on the play.
And Kearney's just going to have to get something going here. Fremont starting off really strong, 1 safety deep, which is worrisome for how strong the pass game has been, as that is a first down and a little extra yards coming by the hands of, I believe, Hudson Bertrand. That is correct. Hudson Bertrand on that reception. First down, keeps the chains moving for the Bearcats and starting things off well here in the second half.
And again, you have a Bermuda triangle. It's not a Bermuda triangle. It's a Bermuda pentagon almost. There are Fremont defenders who just watched the play happen. You have the 2 safeties in the back. You had a couple of cornerbacks. Nobody was there really to catch him. I mean, you had the guy covering, but there was really nobody else out over there.
Yeah, something weird we're seeing is Fremont defenders, their deepest one is only about 11 yards as Kowalik takes that one, tries to find a hole, doesn't get there. He's going to get up to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be a gain of 0, but he will avoid the loss.
Cunnings on the tackle there for Fremont. And you've got to wonder here, after a while, Cunnings has been doing a lot. He's been out there on every play. He's got to start getting tired at some point.
Yeah, you can't just ride the back of Cunnings the entire time. And, again, we saw that last year in Grand Island with Kite and Fife. Kearney, as long as they contained Fife, would do well, and they did end up winning that one. Kearney doing defensively very well here today, and as well offensively. Handoff again to the inside to Kowalik, and he gets a yard on that one.
Now, Fremont's defensive line and the way they've been running their defense works out really well when you're trying to run and when you see the teams running. But when you start to open things up and send the airmail through, it's an easy opportunity. There's no embargoes. There's no-fly zones, it seems like. It's open territory, and you can land the plane wherever you want.
And Kearney is okay with how this game is. Kearney is okay with this, with not really gaining any yards because they're taking the time off the clock. They're at 3-4 minutes into this one, and that's almost double, as that is a shot for Dahlgren. Dahlgren's got that one. He's got that one down at about the 22-yard line of the Fremont Tigers. That's a huge reception, another first down for the Bearcats.
Caden Ray with the tackle for Fremont. He gave him he gave him the 6 degrees of separation to avoid a pass interference penalty, but if he was there, probably would have been able to break up the pass.
You know, and again, just as I was saying, Kearney's okay with these 1-2-yard runs, sometimes 0-yard runs, because it's going to take time off the clock. They're coming into this second half with only 5 minutes, 21 seconds of possession. Yet here they are as the passing game works again. Carter Lee going to go head first into a couple defenders, work himself up, get a 12-yard reception at that, all the way to the 11-yard line.
That time it's a easy grab there, easy workaround for the Bearcats, and just like that, not yet first down goal, but basically a first down is pay dirt.
Yeah, essentially at this point, it's Kearney has done really well in the red zone. Again, we've kind of haven't really seen them in the middle part of this field. They've kind of just been on one end or the other. So really, Kearney has been used to being on this end of the field, and we'll kind of see how they handle things in the second half. As that carry by Kowalik goes forward for about 3 yards. And again, Kearney has doubled so far their time of possession today already just from this drive.
And then eating up clock, as you've mentioned a little bit here, Mitchell, this is going to show here because that play ended at 7:46. And right now, 20 seconds so far off the clock. Now it's 7:26. Play clock has yet to start, so there we go. Now it started at 25. You could work it all the way down to 7 minutes even if you want.
Yeah, and it's something we're probably going to see Kearney do a lot of as the pitch outside to Kowalik. Kowalik tries to find an edge, doesn't quite get it, driven backwards. See where they spot the ball. It'll be a loss of 1.
Bearcats were able to work off roughly 30 seconds on that play, in between plays, and that play ended at 7:07. And don't worry, I will quit focusing on the time so much here, but it is a very interesting situation here, seeing how Coach Cool is working on with the clock and working it down.
Because we're already at 6:40 on the clock, so this is already, we're just about halfway through this third quarter already. Beckman lines up a shotgun, third down, drops back to pass. Pass out to Carter Lee. He reaches forward. We'll see where they spot the ball. It'll be short of a first down. Now to see what Coach Cool wants to do. It looks like the offense is going to stay out there, potentially.
Sawyer Schilke is running out there, and he's now in the formation.
They're also going to add an extra tight end in the formation as well. So we will see their plan here right now. Coach Cool will quickly meet with one of the coaches to decide what they want to do, but looks like the offense will stay on the field. Beckman's going to quickly get out there as the play clock is winding down. 10 seconds left. It looks like Schilke will be on to Beckman's left. 4th and 3, and it looks like they're going to get a penalty on the field. Beckman quickly pointed. We'll see if it's encroachment. Beckman quickly pointed to the Fremont side.
Fremont's looking, though, and they're doing the same direction towards the Kearney players. Let's see.
It'll be offsides, defensive encroachment. We'll see where that gets the ball for the Bearcats.
You've got to play a little bit more undisciplined football than that if you're Fremont. I mean, here you are in your third game, and you can't give up items like that. You really can't at this point.
So it'll be a 4th and 1 for the Bearcats. We'll see what the set looks like for them. Did see one of their larger linemen head out. They're going to be a bunch formation. Heavy to the right side. Handoff to the fullback, Ethan Kowalik, I believe. Kowalik or Toppenheim. We'll see who it goes to. But it, regardless, is a touchdown for the Bearcats. Fullback dive works to perfection.
Best part about that, I think, here, Mitchell.
Looks like it will go to Toppenheim.
You had Beckman rolling out, and he was trying to pull a fake, and he pulled a couple of Fremont guys with him. As you see Escovedo fall for it, you also saw Cunnings fall for it. And then all just like that, you had a 10 on a 9 situation. Easy one to work through.
That kick rings true. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Back into the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. We're halfway through the third quarter already, just after one drive. And Kearney ends in another touchdown. As we wave over to our friends over in the booth next to us, the KGFW booth.
Ford Clark, Austin Jacobson.
Great people. A deep kick and another fumbled kick. That, again, to Escovedo. All of our kicks have gone to Escovedo. Escovedo still gets up to the 26, 27-yard line. So regardless of that quick fumble, he still makes good work out of it.
And that's the result there of Escovedo being involved in almost every play tonight for Fremont. I was about to say, this is the best time that you really can tell on the stream. You look over there, you don't see as many white jerseys as you see white helmets for Kearney, as it's pretty much double at this point.
Yeah, Kearney does have the added buffer that it isn't a travel. They don't have their travel roster, so Kearney's roster is a little bit boosted. But again, the handoff goes up the middle for about a 7-yard gain. And there will be a flag on the play. Fremont did not look happy. Titus Richardson did put his arms up like he shouldn't have been called for anything. We'll potentially see an unsportsmanlike here.
We'll see Sawyer Schilke leave the contest also, as it's a meeting of the Zebras currently.
And Coach Cool is going to give Sawyer a talking to, as he will be called for an unsportsmanlike. And an automatic first down plus 15.
That's the one big boo-boo so far that Kearney High has made in this contest.
Their first major penalty. They had a false start earlier, but this is their first major penalty. Sawyer, again, the youngest regular on this offense. He is a sophomore this year. As Cunnings hands it off, keeps it to himself, running to the sideline and out of bounds. His speed gets him about 5-6 yards.
We've seen emotions running a little bit high in that second quarter, rolling into the third, and not too surprising, I don't think, to see some sort of penalty. Unfortunate to see it on Kearney, though.
Yeah, it is not something Kearney wants to have happen. They want to stay cool. They want to stay calm and collected. But again, it obviously showed that it did not work. Cunnings in the shotgun. Keeps to himself. He's going to reverse field, cut up field. He's got a first down. He's wrapped up quickly after breaking into the secondary by Aiden Poppy.
Poppy there was trying to go fumble again, He's kind of more focusing on the fumble before he had the tackle completely wrapped up.
Yeah, and he did have his help from Murray as well in that situation, but regardless, Poppy's still trying to force another big moment of a turnover and send things the other direction. 5:17 left to go here in the third quarter. Cunnings takes the snap, pitches it outside. Quickly met. It's Brooks Eiler.
Kind of running more of an 8-man style play there, it looked like.
Yeah, it's kind of been, their offense has kind of been mainly run through Brooks, Eiler, and Cunnings. And again, kind of eventually those two are going to get tired, and Fremont's going to be going to have issues come this fourth quarter with both of them playing both sides of that ball.
You'd almost expect them to go more on the passing front, and we'd see more passes going to Jackson Siza, to the tight end. We've talked about quite a few times today in Wagner, maybe even, but we haven't seen that yet.
They've had success in part of their passing game as well, as it's a handoff up the middle, quickly met by Murray. A tackle for loss, tackled in the backfield. Murray is going to get that TFL.
Finally, we see some sort of tackle for loss. We didn't have anything of that sort in the first half at all.
No, there was nothing major, no sacks. Still no sacks yet, but again, finally a tackle for loss. Kind of defense finally getting the penetration into the quarterback and running back area. Just have to see what Kearney can do here on this third and long defensively. Fremont's got to get a first down here. They need a touchdown to keep things going. Cunnings takes a shotgun, rolls out to the far side, looks deep, has an incomplete pass intended for, give us a sec, appears to be Nathan Jones.
So Fremont starting to finally use some more of the passing attack we've been expecting. Good work by Baker Bertrand on the quarterback pressure. Knocked him down there at the end as he was making the throwing motion.
Yeah, again, Kearney has had that pressure. Haven't quite gotten a sack, but they've had the pressure to at least force those throws.
He got lucky, didn't have a roughing the passer penalty.
4th and 10. Cunnings drops back after a high snap. Cunnings, screenplay, read by the defense. Kearney's got the pick. Kearney's at 50, 45, 40. He just has Cunnings to beat. 35, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Ben Compton with a pick six. Kearney quickly finds themselves on another amazing play, regardless of the offense.
All the way back. He caught it at roughly the 25 and takes it an entire 75 yards. What a play there for Kearney.
Ben Compton with a highlight reel. Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network. One of the Kearney High teachers having some fun in the student section, it appears, today. Mr. Wong, great teacher at Kearney High. However, as we quickly look here, heading to the fourth quarter, Kearney has pretty much got this game on ice so far today. A huge lead for them. So far, a 35-point lead. Hard for Fremont to come back from this. Fremont sends a wide receiver in motion. Handoff on that outside edge. Eiler gets about 5 yards. We look at some of the stat leaders coming into today, passing-wise. Traven Beckman, 212 yards, 9 for 10, 2 touchdowns. Hudson Cunnings, 10 for 17, 126 yards, 1 touchdown.
Couple looks at the scoring again. Elkhorn South now leading 24-21 over Millard South.
Cunnings drops back to pass. Surveys the D. Has his man too far behind. A pass intended for Jackson Siza. Siza wanted a flag, but that pass too far behind him. Flag really, in fact, if there would have been pass interference, probably would have helped him.
It would have, yeah, because it looked like it wasn't Matthew Domko he was in the end zone there. It looked like if there was going to have any interference, it was going to be on Caleb Larson. Either way, really good defense played by the both of them. Another Class A score. Bellevue West kind of playing the same game we're playing right now. 54-7 lead over Omaha Burke.
Burke lost a couple of their great players. Pretty much to the transfer portal, you could say, of high school football here in Nebraska and Omaha. Cunnings drops back to pass as a wide open receiver. Quickly met and driven to the ground by, I believe, Sawyer Schilke. That pass caught by Caden Wary.
It's almost like if Fremont wants to get a couple of scores, I think they're pretty much out of reach in this contest so far. If they keep with the short and the midfield passing, the better they can do, get a couple more scores before the end of the contest.
Yeah, Kearney doing their best to get something, get a stop here. It's first and goal, excuse me. Cunnings keeps it to himself. Pressure coming. Pass. See if they call it. Incomplete, out of the end zone. Almost a catch by Nathan Jones, but too far out of the end zone. Didn't quite have enough. Didn't get the foot inside. Didn't get that toe down.
Jones, a name we haven't mentioned at all in the first half. We mentioned him a couple times here in the second.
Kearney does have a running clock here tonight, as that will go with a 35-point lead. Fremont, if they were to score, would end that running clock until Kearney were to score. Cunnings in the shotgun. Eiler to his right. Cunnings keeps it. Going for the pylon. Walks into the end zone. He's got a touchdown for himself. That, again, will end the running clock for now, as that gets Fremont up to 20 with the pending PAT. They hope to make it 21. Again, to kick the PAT, Nathan Jones. To hold will be Charles Richmond. Read the wrong name there. Snap, the hold is good. Almost a hand on that one, but that one gets through the uprights. Fremont's up to 21 here in Kearney. Kearney still leads 49-21. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
There's no place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Kearney's still having a great time here. 49-21. Kearney's got a very big lead here heading into the end of the fourth quarter. 1 quarter of the way done with the fourth quarter. If we can keep going math here. But again, 9:04 left to play here left in this game. Again, we'll likely see probably just a squib kick again from Fremont, rather than them risk it and send it back to the house once again. Again, T-shirt cannons in addition this year. Got our athletic director walking around with one currently. Again, a squib kick. Gets to Barrett. Barrett decides to keep it. He cuts field. Cuts it upfield, gets a couple yards out of it, gets it up to the 42. Doesn't get a whole lot of yards, but regardless, still does get something out of it. Mr. Wong going to shoot at some T-shirts into the crowd. That one's going straight at the press box. Almost hit the window up here.
Well, you know, you got to have a little bit of excitement up here sometimes.
Got to keep us awake. Kearney likely just going to run the ball for majority of this game. They are going to try and score and get running clock back, as that is a pitch outside to Abel Molina. Abel, we've got a flag on the play. Stiff arm. Abel making his way. Likely will be coming back, I would assume holding. But regardless, a great run by Abel Molina.
Yeah, Hudson Bertrand kind of there knowing that was on him, and it looks like the preliminary call holding as they're going to walk Kearney back.
And Kearney's just going to Kearney's going to kind of get some of these players that aren't normally in the rotation kind of in there with this big lead, get them some playing time here at home. But again, Kearney well ahead will be able to do this, but they're going to have to keep those penalties down if they want to keep this clock rolling and get something in this game. Beckman heads back into the huddle. 1st and 20 after the holding call. Abel Molina to Beckman's right. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. So you can hear the T-shirt cannon. Abel Molina gets the pitch again. Molina trucks through a couple of them, doesn't quite break a tackle, but drags a couple with him, and he's got a gain of about 13.
Does a pretty good job there to cut down on the losses.
Abel Molina's had a rough history of Kearney High football. Freshman year, he tore his ACL at a freshman game. Sophomore year, he tore his ACL that summer, I believe. And so he has not really seen any playing time since the first couple games of freshman year. Nothing substantial. And so he is now under the lights as a junior on the varsity level, doing well. Beckman takes the snap. Pitch to Abel again. Abel tries to get past one, breaks a tackle, still forcing himself forward. His forward momentum is enough to get a first down.
Looks like we've got I was about to say, things are getting a little bit slow there. Escovedo was a little bit slow to get up there.
Again, you can kind of just see as we will have a new quarterback enter play for the Bearcats. Number 15, Lincoln Phillips. The JV quarterback has spent the most time with Abel Molina his freshman year. Eli Randolph and Abel would have split carries while they were available. Handoff to Molina up the middle. Breaks one tackle, gets caught about 4 yards later, pushed back. His forward momentum will get him about 3-4 yards on the carry.
Whole bunch of Fremont Tigers on that one. For every Kearney Bearcat pushing, there was at least 3 guys from Fremont pushing back.
This is for we are probably not going to see Beckman again, as we mentioned. Lincoln Phillips into the lineup for the Bearcats, so we won't see Beckman for the rest of this game. So Beckman will enjoy his 212 yards in the air and 26 yards on the ground. 3 carries, 9 for 10 completions in attempts today. Lincoln fumbles the snap. Coach Kuhl not happy, and Lincoln will just fall on the ball to avoid a turnover. Lincoln kind of not paying attention and just running without the ball, running before catching the ball. And Coach Kuhl is going to give an earful about that.
Understand me, this is a really good coaching moment when you look at it for Lincoln. There's a good chance he might be the quarterback for Kearney High football next year. You don't want those mistakes to happen next year in the first quarter when it's 0-all. Right now, 49-21 garbage time. You can make all those mistakes you want right now.
Lincoln Phillips did play last year in a barn burner, one-sided, all offense against it's an Omaha school last year. I don't remember, but he did get in at the end of the game.
Omaha Northwest?
Might have been like one of the last games of the year. Pitch outside to Abel Molina. Cuts inside, trucks his way forward. Will he have the first down? We'll wait and see. And he does.
He does. He needed 12 yards. He took it 13.
Abel trucking his way forward. Moving defenders with him. But, yeah, again, as we mentioned, Lincoln Phillips had a fumble. He was a sophomore playing against varsity players, kind of a little bit rattled. But, again, we see here he hasn't fumbled. Hasn't fumbled today. Well, I guess he has fumbled, but he quickly recovered.
Class C2 football action. Hastings St. Cecilia 35, Amherst nothing currently. Amherst playing their first game in 11-man football since 2006.
Our athletic director is getting all the T-shirts out of here that they had planned for this game. Pitch outside to Abel Molina. Lincoln timed that perfectly. Abel's got to the outside, breaks a tackle, pushed out of bounds. Lincoln Phillips timed that perfectly, took the hit right after pitching the ball, got the defenders to bite, and gets another first down by the hands of Abel Molina.
Can't ask for a better opportunity there. And right now, 5 minutes left roughly. Really good opportunity. Get some of these JV kids. Get them some varsity time.
JV had a win this Monday. 20-something to, I believe, 7 or 14, somewhere in there. I don't remember the score exactly, but I do know they came away with a win against Lincoln something. Again, nowhere near do I have those specifics, but did not think I would need those tonight. Lincoln Phillips in the shotgun. Hands it off to Abel Molina inside. Abel breaks one tackle, spins off another, kind of grabbed on. His forward momentum stopped after about a gain of 2. He will get that gain of 2 as the clock ticks away. 4:40 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Perfect opportunity here for Kearney High. Also, not just getting players some playing time that we haven't seen a lot of, but it's also just some good time to just run out the clock a little bit.
Yeah, and it's something we're going to know what we're going to expect to see for the majority of this game. Kearney is going to run the clock down as much as they can while they have the ball, and they're going to try and walk away with 7 so they can get a running clock going once again. Abel Molina still in the backfield. To Lincoln Phillips right. Lincoln cuts inside. He's going to get a gain of about 6. Bring up about a 3rd and 3.
Another Fremont Tiger, slow to get up, Nathan Jones.
Kind of see some of these names we called at the beginning of the game still in and getting tired and just sore and all sorts of stuff. Lincoln Phillips jogs back with the play call. 3rd and 4.
Latest that they could run this playoff would be at 3:10.
Kearney needs a first down here. Matthew Domko gets the pitch. Pancake blocked by one receiver. Hauled down by the next. It's going to be about a yard short. Perry Swarm had the pancake block on the edge. About a 4th and 1.
Go ahead there.
Kearney will stay on the field because they don't exactly need the points, and they need a touchdown if they want to get the clock rolling again.
Not the biggest fan of that tackle on Domko. Bit high there, and that's one of those unsafe tackles that you hear about all the time that they try to get rid of in the game. Thankfully, no injury.
They got around the neck, so it wasn't a horse. Didn't grab the neck pad, so it wasn't a horse collar, and they didn't get the face mask, so obviously not a face mask. Still technically legal. Domko takes it to the edge. He's got to cut up field. He does have the first down. Gets a gain of about 7, and gets the yard he needed for the first down and plenty more.
pretty much call this game over at this point now.
Kearney will definitely walk away, go to 2-0 on the year, as Fremont will likely move to 0-3. Matthew Domko still partnered up with Lincoln Phillips. 1:50 left to go on the game clock. Hand off to Domko inside. Domko gets about 4 yards. Gets up to the 5-yard line. Kearney content to let this clock go as much as they can. We'll see if they keep it we'll see if they're able to keep it with them the entire time, or if Fremont will get the ball back. If Fremont does get the ball back, they likely will not have much time.
We'll see Domko check out here.
Zach Watson, I believe, will come in to replace him. Another senior.
Phillips trotting in with a play call. Minute 7 to go.
2nd and goal. About 5 to go. Kearney will elect to knee the ball, and they will knee the ball once more, and that will be it. Kearney will walk away with a victory today and advance to 2-0, a much larger lead that they had today than against Lincoln East. As Phillips trots out to take the knee one more time. And Kearney will take on Lincoln North Star next week. That game is on Thursday, away in Lincoln. Lincoln, speaking of Lincoln, will kneel the ball once again and seal the deal for Kearney. Kearney wins 49-29 in their home opener. Not much else to say. Kearney ran away with this one from the beginning. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our post-game recap. You're watching the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank.
It's a sunny day, we got some time to stay. Hey, 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 and everything's okay. It's a sunny day, we got some
No place quite like our middle of everywhere. We're the bank that'll help you celebrate everything it brings. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Welcome back to the Bearcat Sports Network, brought to you by Pinnacle Bank. Kearney wins this one 49-21 in a game that isn't all too close at all. We'd like to thank Pinnacle Bank for their financial support today. Without them, this wouldn't be possible without all this equipment and all sorts of stuff. Again, we'd like to thank Strive for all their help and everything we do. Again, next week, Kearney will travel to Lincoln to take on North Star. Game is on Thursday at 7. Fremont stays home next week to play the Lincoln Northeast Rockets. And we wish them the best of luck as we take a look at the final stats for the Bearcats.
Let's take a look at a couple of quick score updates while you're getting the stats pulled up here, Mitchell. Bellevue West with a big lead so far over Omaha Burke, 60-13 right now. 5 minutes left in that contest. And Millard West looking to seal the deal against Omaha North. It's currently 14-13 with 58 seconds left in the contest. Finally, Norfolk Catholic defeats Ord 35-14.
Take a quick look at some stat comparisons here today. Total offense, Tigers win that battle, 391 yards to 324. Again, Kearney had two touchdowns come on special teams and another on defense. Tigers ran 58 plays to Bearcats 39. The yards per play, Tigers averaged 6.7, so they did well as we see all of the Rowdies rush onto the field. Bearcats, however, averaged even more with 8.3 yards play. Kearney was big in the passing game. 212 yards, 9 for 10 for Beckman, 23.6 yard average, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Fremont won that rushing game, 251 yards to 112. Receiving wise, again, those are going to stay the same. 9 completions for the Bearcats. Penalties. Kearney had 3 for 30 yards, a holding, a personal foul, and I believe a false start. There was 1 interception for the Fremont Tigers and 1 lost fumble. Kearney kept the ball on their side all day. Only 1 punt today, and that was in the first quarter with the first score for the Bearcats.
And looking at some of those, the punt and the interception both brought right back to the house for touchdowns for Kearney. An impressive night defensively and special teams-wise, turning those plays into points.
Yeah, Kearney did amazingly, taking every opportunity they had and getting points out of it. No matter what happened, they did the best. They took every opportunity and they got points on a whole bunch of stuff and did the best they could on anything else. With that being said, Traven Beckman took all the passing stats for the Bearcats. Abel Molina comes in late in the game and takes the crown for most rushing yards. He has also the most amount of attempts as well coming at the end of the game. He averaged 8.2 yards a carry, 49 yards on 6 attempts. Jack Dahlgren gets the crown for receiving yards today, 82 yards on 2 receptions. No touchdowns to his name. However, Xander Ruling and Justin Murray each had a receiving touchdown to them. Ben Cumston had the pick 6. And extra points for 7 for 7 today. But with that being said, my name is Mitchell Brandt. Alongside me tonight was Alex Hammocky. We thank you for watching, and good night.
Well, my dreams are sweet.
Life is about waking up to a brand new dream. We're the local bank that's with you, wherever it leads. Because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank.